125 years ago, Vancouver was made up of some fledgling settlements along the Burrard Inlet. Business was pretty much lumber, furs, and fish. High glass towers, bridges, and sushi bars were non-existent. Today is Vancouver's 125th birthday. Francis Mansbridge is an historian who has written extensively on Vancouver's history. He is the archivist at North Vancouver Museum and Archives. He has a coffee table book called Vancouver Then and Now. And it is my pleasure to welcome Francis Mansbridge to Studio 4 to show and tell us more.
Thank you very much, Fanny.
Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
What piqued your interest in history, specifically our history?
Well, I worked as archivist in North Vancouver from about 1994, and we had recently acquired a large collection of the shipyard's records that had recently shut down, over 1,000 boxes of them, and including a wonderful collection of photographs. And so that turned me towards doing local history, and I did my first local history book was on Burrard Dry Dock, launching history based on these papers and
The North Van Shipyard?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
And did you ever stay at the Sylvia Hotel?
I've been there many times, but mostly in the bar.
I'm sure, me too. Great hotel. Sure was. Was Vancouver always called Vancouver?
No, it was called Granville. That was the original name. And then when the railway came in, Vancouver was chosen as the name, as something perhaps more recognizable.
Sure, the CPR?
Yes.
Were we the first transcontinental railway?
The first transcontinental in Canada. There had been one in the States some years earlier.
And it started here with George Van Horn, wasn't it?
Yes.
So the first trans, and it all started here. And what was happening here 125 years ago?
Well, Gassy Jack had arrived some time before.
Did he?
And
with whiskey?
He came with a barrel of whiskey and a persuasive tongue, which got the name of Gassy Jack. And he set up his Globe Saloon. It took 24 hours, apparently, for the locals to build it because they had an vested interest in it. And
is that in Gastown, what we know as Gastown now?
Yes, that is about the corner of Carroll and Water Streets in Gastown.
Because there is a statue.
Yes, that's where he was.
So he was a great character.
Yes, standing on his barrel of whiskey in the statue.
And then, as we go along, after Gassy Jack and whiskey and fun and all of that, what happened to all the fishers and the loggers? Because this was pretty much trees, right?
It was pretty much trees, and logging did continue for quite a while, but the big business, really, the big money-making business in early Vancouver was real estate, as it is now. That's one thing that has been true. And the people that made a lot of money the whole time have been people involved in real estate, buying and selling lots. Also lost a lot, too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, but it makes sense. What was here, where the Shaw Tower is, and all the way along here and going into Gastown and up to Kitts? Trees?
Yes, mostly trees. And Granville, of course, down at Carroll and Water Street, this is where Vancouver began. And then gradually it spread uptown as the CPR tried to promote it, as they had huge land holdings here. And they wanted to encourage people to move further uptown and buy their land. So they did things like building the Vancouver Opera House, which had where the Pacific Center is now. It had seating capacity of 1,200 when Vancouver had a total population of 13,000.
Really? So, 13,000?
Yes.
And where did people pick up their mail? Where was the post office? Was it Sinclair Center?
Yeah, well, the post office was in that area, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there are many post offices, but that building is still here, right?
Yes.
Last time I looked.
It is still here, much renovated, but still here.
And the Fairmont Hotel, the Hotel Van. What year was that?
Now, there were 3 Hotel Vancouvers, and the first was built, I believe, in 1891, and then there was the much larger Hotel Vancouver built near where the current one is in 1912, I believe. And then the third Hotel Vancouver opened in 1949.
Okay. So
the Hotel Vancouver has always been the place where a lot of the elite, I suppose, stayed.
And some of the hotels, like the Devonshire and others, were blowing up.
Yes.
They're gone.
Yes.
I saw a building in Vancouver Then and Now, and it was a brick building, and on the side it said J. Leckie, boots, shoes, rubber footwear, oiled clothing. Where was that? You know?
This is probably the Gastown image. And
It looked like Gastown area,
and,
something like that.
Vancouver went through a bit of a depression in the 1890s, but one thing that really got it out of the depression was the Klondike Gold Rush in 1898, because people coming through here provisioned for the trip. And so a lot of people made, I guess, a lot of money selling goods to them.
Well, it's so amazing to look then and now, like the Manhattan apartments downtown on Robson, then and now. Same building?
It's the same building. It's gone through quite a few renovations, but and like a lot of buildings, was very nearly torn down in the 1970s, because there was a big rush in the 1970s to put freeways all over Vancouver, demolish Chinatown and Strathcona. And fortunately, there are a lot of people objected to that, and a lot of the buildings were preserved. Not all of them, but a lot were.
Well, the Rogers Mansion, which I think housed Highs at some point. It was a steakhouse. It was Macaroni Grill. But that's the Sugar Baron Rogers, right? And that was their house.
Yes, that was their house, and that was one of the grandest houses in the West End, of course. And
still is.
One of the one of the few that was built out of stone, and now is closed, but is going to become a keg restaurant, I believe, in the near future.
Really?
Yes.
Well, it's a beautiful building.
It's a beautiful building, yes.
Beautiful building. Lost Lagoon. Drive by it every day. Was that, who named it? Pauline Johnson?
Pauline Johnson named it. She named it Lost Lagoon because the water, it was seawater at that time, and so every tide the water went out, and so the lagoon was lost.
Oh.
And then it came in again, of course, and so people used to skate there on colder winters, not the last few winters, certainly.
So only a poet would know. She was a Mohawk poet, Pauline Johnson.
She was half Mohawk anyway.
Fairly famous.
Yes, yes.
Now, how do we get around? Like, if you take me to South Granville Street, then and now, was there an electric railway or what?
Yes, there was an interurban that was built. Actually, it went all the way to New Westminster. And, you know, really, I suppose like an early SkyTrain, if not quite so fast. And then there was a very, very good streetcar bus system that developed. And, of course, most of the people at this time didn't have cars, so it was very essential. Yes.
What about nightlife, the clubs, the characters?
Ah, yes. Now,
I mean, I remember the Penthouse,
okay.
but that wasn't 125 years ago.
No, no. Nightlife was very big in early Vancouver. They had, by the 1920s, they had 45 entertainment venues. Granville Street had more neon than any city in the world, apart from Shanghai.
Really?
And you know, it was a real going-out town at that time, and certainly, I suppose, more so than it is now.
Well, as you know, Fred Herzog has some wonderful pictures of Vancouver and neon, especially Vancouver in the rain, and you know, our grandfathers, or not mine, but perhaps not yours either, but our grandfathers at the PNE and gambling and...
Yes, yes, it was, I don't know, I think maybe people drank a lot more. At least, you know, some of the hotels had kind of eye-opener specials where you get a drink with breakfast. And,
for sure, drink for breakfast, and then you drove home.
Usual. Yes, of course.
Go to the cave, fall out of the cave, listen to Mitzi Gaynor, and then get in your car and drive home.
Yeah.
And if the police stopped you, they'd say, "What have we been up to?" You say, "Well, we had a little champagne, maybe too much." They say, "Well, drive carefully."
Yes, times are different back then, but they had a lot of the top entertainers of the world really came here. People like Charlie Chaplin and you know, the great jazz entertainers. They all came. They all played here in Vancouver.
Yeah, it was a bit of a hub, really.
Yes.
And the great characters of this city, the old characters, the Sam Greer. Didn't he used to shoot cougars?
Out on Greer's Beach, which is now Kitsilano, and. Yeah, so there were, I guess Joe Fortes was one of the great characters as well. He taught people to swim. Yes. Now, it's interesting that he taught people to swim, but as a person of color, he was not allowed in the public pools.
I know.
And that is, I guess, it's a less likable but real feature of Vancouver's history.
Sure
is.
We
do have a lot of racist skeletons in the closet.
We sure do. And I know Pop Pantages used to swim down there every day. I think he was probably a friend of Joe's. Would that be the right timing?
Yes,
Would it?
I believe so, yes.
Well, today we're celebrating 125, as you know, right out here on the Jack Poole Plaza. There'll be 5440, the band, the Vancouver Bach Choir, a Little Old Canada, until 10 o'clock tonight. Starts at 2, I think.
Okay.
Will you be there?
I will be there, and I will look forward to it as
Okay,
well.
we'll come back and we'll talk more because I think Vancouver history is really fascinating.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Fanny.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Francis Mansbridge. And if you'd like to know more, Vancouver Then and Now, lovely coffee table book of then and now.